right, good afternoon, everybody. I was asked to come up and speak a couple of words. I'm going to do that, but I want you to continue eating and working on your salad. The meals are coming out in just a minute, but wanted to echo Jay and welcome everybody to the YBL luncheon today. My name is Chris Bates. I'm going to share with you for just a moment a little bit about my history with YBL. And then we will get to the reason that we're all here with our speaker that we're all excited about. It was over 10 years ago, actually, my brother, who a number of you guys know, had said, I want you to come to this luncheon banquet thing. And he'd been to several of them, and he said, I just think it'd be something good for you. And at the time, I was actually going through a divorce, and he knew that I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and he asked me again, and he asked me a third time, and I said, fine, I'll go to one of those luncheon things with you. And lo and behold, it was a YBL luncheon at the Hilton. And it actually hit me at a time when I didn't know it, but I needed it the most. I grew up in the church, and like many of us in my young adult years had, let's just say I had ventured out on my own and found some other major priorities in my life. And what that introduction to YBL did for me was it engaged and intrigued me enough to get into what we call a COM group. It's a concentrating on the major group it started with 5 of us and a little down to 4 of us. And we basically went through the high points of the Bible. And ours was supposed to take about 8 months. It took about a year, maybe 14 months, which didn't really matter, but what it did is it started a close-knit group of us that once we finished the COM program, then Doug, that was the director at the time, set us up with a group leader, and we started our own group. We started meeting at 6:45 on Tuesday mornings, and that group still meets. That group actually now meets at my office, and I wanted to explain to you very briefly really what it's meant to me, because over the years since I went through that COM program and have maintained involvement in that group and have led the group at a different time or two. Like many of us, I've been through the roller coasters of life. I've been through career changes. I've been through spiritually and worldly challenge problems. And it's been one of those constants for me that in addition to a church life, what it has given me is some men to connect with, that we could actually be accountable to one another. We can pray for each other. We can say, hey, I know you've had this going on with your kids. How's that going for you? And it's been something that, for me, has been a real guidepost. And so I wanted to share that with you to encourage you. Many of the men in the group in the lunch today have some involvement with YBL or some interest. Some of you may have been involved for a long time, but I think the most important folks that are here today is those that are not. YBL for me is something that is very much in addition to church life and has been an important part of my spiritual walk. So if you're not yet involved, I encourage you to do that. I know that Jay mentioned the cards that are on the table, and at the end of the day today, you're going to have a chance to fill those out and turn them in. And if you have some interest, if you just want to talk to somebody, a fellow board member, or talk to Jay about what involvement you may have and what it could mean in your life, please take the opportunity to do so. I think as a takeaway, the most important thing that YBL has given me is learning more of what a disciple means. And a disciple means 2 things to me. And we actually were discussing this in our study group yesterday morning, that discipleship means learning, and it also means serving. And it's given me opportunities to serve in ways in my life that I'm quite sure I would not have had, or maybe have even been open to otherwise. So I hope that might encourage you to get engaged and get involved. And thank you again for being here today. And I'm going to bring up the young man that's going to introduce our speaker. John Norton is over Human Resources at C-Spire. And I do want to comment that C-Spire has been a very important partner of YBL Jackson for many, many years. It's a tremendous sponsor and has been involved at many levels. So, John, we're sure glad to have you here today. Bring our speaker up.